Today is Tuesday. I've only got 4 orders going out for a total of $27.73. And I had plans of doing a whole bin store picking video. Unfortunately, my camera went off after just about 6.5 minutes. I don't know what happened. I didn't touch it. It didn't overheat. The battery was at 100% when I started. But I only got, like I said, about 6.5 minutes of footage, and it turned off and I didn't realize it. So I'm going to show you the things that I picked up today. It was really not a spectacular trip by any means, but I did end up with about 35 items. But right now, I'll go over everything that I bought, and then I'll go pull my orders. The first thing was this set of All-Clad. It's a pot handle, and I guess this is like a pot rest or something. I did comp this item, and it looks like they sell on Amazon for about $22 or $23. I did not comp it on eBay, but today was dollar day, so everything here I only paid $1 for. A solitaire game, but then I realized it had been opened, and there's even batteries in it, but it does work. So I picked that up. I found this printer cable, and I did comp this, and it looks like I could probably get $15, maybe $18 for that. I found a 2-pack of replacement remotes for Roku, so only $1 for both of those. There was this, I think it's a Built-Right vent, Biltmort. That's the name brand. I found this Biltmort vent, and these sell for various amounts depending on the size, but this is probably going to be a $20 vent. I got a bag of Christmas light hooks. I also got 3 boxes of Christmas light hooks, and obviously right now these are probably not going to sell, but usually at Christmas, whatever ones I find throughout the year will end up selling out. So I'll just have those ready for Christmas. This is a Orange Security Officer patch set. It's got the back part with Velcro on it, and then the front part, of course, has Velcro too. I didn't comp this, so it's probably not worth too much, but I did pick that up. I got this 48 count pack of shower curtain grommets. I think it's missing a few of them, but the comps were decent enough on this that there's definitely some money to be made here. And I also found this Photodiox lens mount adapter for, what was it, a Canon EOS camera. And I'm quite sure this is just an open box item. I don't think it's brand new. I quickly looked at it, but that's probably going to be a $15 item. This is just something I bought for myself. It's some little Blink camera mounts. I found this ET 500 piece puzzle. It does appear to be sealed, and the comps were decent enough on this that I decided to pick it up. This is a strap. This is another item I bought for myself. It has a handle. It's called Strap-A-Handle. You can put the strap around boxes and have a handle to carry them. So I thought that would be pretty neat. Another bag of Christmas light hooks. I found another slightly smaller Biltmort vent, and a pack of Amazon Fresh fake Pop-Tarts. I did have to give up one of these to my friend Kim. She actually works very close to the bin store, and she has some food for me, so I went to pick it up, and I gave her one of these, which was a really good trade because in return I got some crawfish pies and some crawfish etouffee. I found this Replenish PetMate bottle, which is just going to be a replacement bottle for the PetMate dish. I also found these size 17 Steve Madden shoes. I mean, these things are humongous, and they appear to be brand new. Didn't comp these, just decided that for $1 I would pick those up. And lastly, I got a couple stacks of books. I was hoping I could find some of the NFP books that, if you've seen some of my previous videos, there's like plumbing, electrical, mechanical code books, and I was looking for some of those. Unfortunately, they didn't have any. They did have these. Most of these books are not going to be that great. These little DSM books, you know, those sell for like $13 or $14 free shipping, but they sell fast. This book looked pretty good. I actually have another one somewhere in the stack. This is probably going to be a $25 book. Well, probably $50 worth of books with the other one. The rest of them, for the most part, are going to probably be $10 to $15 books. There was also this, Shifting the Balance. This is probably maybe a $20 or $25 book. but the rest of them are pretty much just run-of-the-mill. So nothing really great there. In 05, I've got a pack of vacuum cleaner bags. And these sold for $5.36 plus shipping. In H16, I've got some anti-cellulite massage oil. And this sold for $8.96 plus shipping. Back in my eBay room, and in the F bin, I've got a Hulk mask. And this sold for $5.36 plus shipping. Also in F is a spa filter. Or maybe there's not a filter in F. Spa filter. Yeah, there was supposed to be one in there, but I know this is an item that I listed a very long time ago. So, let's see. Is that it? No, that's not it. I've got to do some looking. I didn't find the filter yet, but I think I'm going to just look for it in a little while. So all three of these items came from the bin store. The cream was $1, the mask was 50 cents, and the vacuum bags were $1 also. So I'm going to pack these up and get them to the post office before it gets any later. And then when I get back, I'm just going to look for the missing filter, which shouldn't be that hard to find because it's been listed for a very long time. So it's probably in one of the older bins. If it's not, I very likely have one of those, or probably a couple of them, in my death pile, because I do have a couple bins of filters that I've never listed just because they were such low dollar items. So I may be able to find one there if I can't find this one. Today is Friday, so I think it's been 2 days since I filmed. I've got 5 orders going out today for a total of $110.16. On a different note, I had a positive experience with FedEx. I'm not quite sure that they're worthy of praise for just doing what they were supposed to do, but at least they got it right. I had a handgun that I had to send back to Ruger to get repaired. And it's actually the second one I've had to send back to Ruger. Ruger pays for the shipping label, so they require you to use FedEx. And I gotta say, the thoughts went through my mind that, well, that's it. I'm never gonna see this gun again. But they got it right. Maybe the difference on this is they require an adult signature when they deliver it. So do they actually try to do what they're supposed to do when adult signature is required? I don't know, but they did get it right. So, you know, congratulations, FedEx. You actually did your job for once. Okay, I'm gonna go pull my orders and show you what's sold. In F6, I've got some blood restriction bands. And these sold for $7.99 plus shipping. In H6, I've got a dimmer switch. And this sold for $9.14 plus shipping. In F4, I've got 2 pod game container tubes. And these sold for $14.95 plus shipping. In H7, I sold a bug screen for a Kenworth truck, and that is not it. Oh. And this sold for $57.44 plus shipping. The last item is in my eBay room on the black shelf, and these are already packed up and ready to go. I don't really remember why I packed these ahead of time. Maybe just because they were kind of loose and I wanted to just, you know, have them all kind of consolidated into one box. But these sold for $20.64 plus shipping. My packing area is still kind of messy because these are the bin store items that I got the other day. And my intention was to list these items in here, but it's been hot and the only time I had to list was in the afternoon and it was just too hot to come in here. So I've been listing in my listing lounge in my living room and I haven't got any of these up. But the tissue box covers came from the bin store. I'm almost positive these were $2. I've been having those a while. The blood restriction bands were 50 cents at the bin store. The dimmer switch was $1 at the bin store. The POG containers, I didn't figure these were worth anything. But these came out of a Milk Cap POG. I don't know, it's not a game. It's like a deal to make the milk caps. Anyway, these were just in there along with a few other extras. So I just comped these just to see, and sure enough, there was a sold comp. There was only one for $15. So I was like, well, I'll try that out. So I listed these for $15, and they sold, I don't know, within a day or so. And the bug screen for the Kenworth was a super good flip, because I only paid $2 for this from the bin store, and it sold for $57. We ended up going to 7 estate sales this weekend. We went to one Saturday because Saturday was the last day and it was 50% off. And we went to 6 yesterday, which was Sunday. Really, I would say I'm only counting 5 of those 6 because one of them was only 25% off. And I went in, looked around for a few minutes, but I didn't see much that I could buy and be able to flip for any type of profit. They did have one of those old Mickey Mouse TVs with the ears, and the remote and everything was with it, but they wanted $95. So even at 25% off, I'm still looking at $70-something for it. So I doubt that it will be there. I can't remember if today or tomorrow is the last day, but I doubt that it will be there once it goes down to, I think this estate sale might do 40% off and then 75% off on, yeah, I can't remember, but I think they do 25, 40, and then like 75% off or something. But I'm sure that TV is not going to be there if I went back once it hits about 40% off. But the other estate sales were pretty good. I ended up with a lot of inventory, and I'm not going to show it in these what sold videos, but I will make some dedicated estate sale videos and show you everything that I picked up. Today, it's kind of a dreary day. It's raining, and I actually really like rainy days, mostly because it means it's generally not as hot when it's raining. Other than the fact that the rain typically jacks up my sinuses, at least it keeps the weather in check, because we've already got days this week that are going to be in the 90s. And the 90s in and of themselves aren't necessarily bad, but if you live somewhere like I do where it's 91 or 92 degrees and the humidity is like 60%, that is bad. Just the stale, stagnant swampiness of the whole thing. But I don't see myself moving anytime soon, so it's one of those things you just have to trudge through the pretty terrible 4 months or so of summer and deal with it. So I'm going to go pull my orders and show you what's sold. In F6, I've got, I think, just 2 items going out. I've got 2 magazines going out. These are going to different buyers, and each of these sold for $44.95 plus shipping. On the LS2 shelf, I've got a Canon Selfie bucket photo printer. I think it's back here. I'm going to need 2 hands to get it. And this sold for $21.69 plus shipping. In 011, I've got another magazine going out. There it is. And this sold for $32.95 plus shipping. In 013, I've got cam and ramp ring clamp. And this sold for $28.69 plus shipping. Back to the LS2 shelf, I've got a 2-pack of the Taco Bell inflatables. I'm going to need 2 hands for these also. And these sold for $11.44 plus shipping. In F3, I've got a Owala silicone bottle boot. And this sold for $5.69 plus shipping. In 03, I've got a baby proofing corner board. And this sold for $6.84 plus shipping. In 06, I've got 2 extra large pill bottles. I think it's just 2. Yeah. And these sold for $13.41 plus shipping. What are you doing, Moose? Whenever I'm pulling orders, he's always like just hanging around like, dude, what are you doing talking to yourself? Actually, whenever I come list, he'll go sit over here in my extremely messy listing lounge right at my feet, so he doesn't know whether he needs to go sit down over there or go back to my eBay room. In F12, I've got a passenger side door handle. Well, I think I do. Oh, yeah, this must be it. Yep. And this sold for $12.59 plus shipping. In the F4 bin, I've got another magazine going out, and this sold for $39.95 plus shipping. Here's everything going out today. My workspace is still a little cluttered with some bin store stuff from last week, but I have made progress. That's all listed stuff, and I've also been listing stuff in my listing lounge, but you know, I often say that sometimes I list stuff here in my eBay room, like this bin store stuff, because that's just where it was at. And then I'll list stuff also in my listing lounge, which is Death Pile from in there. But anyway, so I sold a total of 4 magazines. A couple of these are the same, but they are different calibers. These two are 22 Magnum. This one is a 22 long rifle, and this is also a 22 long rifle. All these are eBay legal because they're 10 rounds or less, and they all came from an estate sale. They were marked 15, and it was half off day, so they were $7.50. I asked her if she would take 5 if I bought them all, and she said yes, and I bought a total of, I think, 7 of these. This baby proofing edge guard came from the bin store. It may have been $1, but I think it was 50 cents, but it was one of the two. The replacement door handle was either 50 cents or $1, and so was this cam locking lid. I think it was $1 from the bin store. These pill bottles, which I've had pretty decent luck selling these are all free. They come from one of the offices that I do business with. Whenever they have a bunch of excess of these, they just throw them out, so they give those to me. The bottle boot, it was probably 50 cents because it really didn't comp well, and I probably would not have bought it otherwise. So I think that was 50 cents. The 2 Taco Bell inflatables, I paid 50 cents each for these from the bin store. Oh yeah, this came from the bin store also. And the Canon selfie picture maker deal, this came from Goodwill, and I've had this for a while. I think it was either $2.99 or $3.99, and it almost appears that it was never been used. A lot of the cables inside are still wrapped up, and all the paperwork is here. It was clean, so I don't, if it was used, it was very lightly used, but I don't think it was used at all. Today is Wednesday, and I've only got 3 orders going out, and that's over the last 2 days. But one thing that I've noticed is that when my day work is slow, that very often correlates with my eBay. And I work in the service industry. I do a little bit of commercial, but mostly residential. But with the residential stuff, lots of times when I'm slower on eBay, I'm slower with my day work. And there's all kind of factors that may be playing into this. Apparently we're into stagflation now, and you know, the election's coming up. I do find it interesting that most of the time my eBay sales mirror my normal work. I do need to go to the post office and pick up a return that a buyer sent back. I did go ahead and refund the buyer when I got notification that the item had been delivered back to me. But when I went to the post office Monday, I had my spare set of keys, so I didn't have my post office box key with me to actually pick it up. It was some dog supplements that the buyer said the ingredient amounts, well, at least on one of the ingredients, were different, and the pills were smaller. But I think what happened was the 2 bottles that I had, well, he only bought one of them, but I have another bottle. On the label, it says new. So I think they changed the size and the formula of those supplements, but he seemed a little skittish about, you know, about that whole thing. So he wanted to send those back. I did accept the return rather than just refunding him. And I don't know if that's always the right or best way to do it, because it did cost me, obviously now, the cost of the product, which was $2. That's not that big a deal. But the shipping to send them out, which I had to refund all that, and the shipping back. So if I think a buyer's really trying to scam me, I'm going to pick that up and just eat the cost of the shipping. But I don't think that was the case here. So I did have him send them back, but I'm not sure that that was really the right way to do it and just end up costing me more. I will say that since I have been accepting returns, my return rate is up. It's not like through the roof or anything, but the people that say that when you just accept returns, you don't get any more returns, I'm not buying it, because my experience has been different. I just checked my return rate, and it's almost double what it was before I started accepting returns. So it's appearing, at least at this point, that accepting returns is causing me to have a higher return rate. In F4, I've got a magazine. And this sold for $39.95 plus shipping. Back in my eBay room, and the next item are these vacuum bags. I think it's both of these. It was both, and it's actually this one that's hidden behind this doll right here who's making me a bit uncomfortable. So it's 24 Auric vacuum bags that sold for $14.89 plus shipping. And the last item is this Cutco knife block. And this sold for $21.95 plus shipping. So I'm down to my second to last magazine, which these have been great. Actually, I thought this was the last one, but I do have one more left. Those came from an estate sale. I paid $5 a piece for those. The Cutco knife block came from an estate sale. I paid $5 for it. And the vacuum bags came from the bin store, and they were 50 cents each. So even though there's 3 packs of them here, I only have $1.50 into these. So that's going to do it for this video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to the channel. As always, I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you in the next video.